Hey guys, welcome back for another reaction. Today I'll be reacting to 13 things you need to know before going to Germany. I've always wanted to go to Germany, so I'm excited to know what are those things. So let's go.
Germany, here are some things you need to know before you go from a German native. Hallo, Servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but have been living in Cincinnati, Ohio, off and on since 2016. Now, traveling isn't really a thing right now, but I know that many of you can't wait until that's going to be possible again. And I know that many of you are planning your future trips in your heads. And for all of you who've always wanted to visit Germany, or even move to Germany, I'm sharing some things that you should definitely know before you go. These are things that I usually tell friends who go to Germany for the first time, but I'm sure that many of you guys could benefit from this as well.
Okay. Different currency in units.
The first one sounds pretty obvious, but believe me, people forget about this all the time.
How?
Different countries have different outlets and voltages. So if
yeah.
you're from the US, you'll need to bring or buy an adapter if you want to use your electrical devices, because your American plugs won't fit into a German outlet. We
Makes
also have a
sense.
voltage of 220, 230 volt in Germany, whereas it's only 120 in the US. And not all electronic devices can handle the switch, so be sure that you do some research about that before you go. Especially hair dryers and hair straighteners usually don't work with a different voltage. I actually broke a hair straightener once because I tried using my German one in the US and that just made it stop working. What does work usually though is laptops and phone chargers and those kind of things. And even though I am obviously aware that the outlets are different, I totally forgot about it this past Christmas when I went home to be with my family, because I got a new laptop recently in the US that came with an American charger, and I totally forgot that for the first time ever I would need an adapter that goes from American plug to German plug and not the other way around. But luckily my dad has a bunch of travel adapters and one of them actually fit. Then of course we also use a different currency in Germany.
That totally makes sense. Like in every country it has different like adapter, but you actually forgot sometimes when you like fly. Like last time I went to Hong Kong and I totally forgot to bring an adapters. It's just so lucky that there is a universal one at the bathroom. It actually says that it's only for shaver, but I still charge in there because I don't have any choice. But yeah, it's good to know this one.
The euro, just like in many other countries in the European Union, and at least compared to the US, we also use a different measurement system, the metric system with kilometers instead of miles, etc., even though the US really is the odd one out here. The next point causes a pretty big shock for many people who visit Germany for the first time. Stores are closed on Sundays, even grocery stores.
Wait, why?
So make sure to plan ahead, because the only places you'll be able to find any groceries on a Sunday are stores at train stations and gas stations. This has a Christian background, but it also has to do with workers' rights. In Germany, we believe that everyone should be able to get a rest day on Sunday and spend time with their family. Restaurants, movie theaters, and those kind of things are usually open though.
This one is interesting, and it's good to know that I watched this video, because I'm learning. That is interesting that they close on Sundays. Well, I mean family time is really big, and I totally agree with this kind of rule or like thing. But if I'm a tourist in Germany and I don't have groceries on Sunday, I would be shocked if it's close. But since I watched this now, I've already know, so good.
Even if you're only in Germany for a day, you should make sure to carry cash on you. Germany has a pretty big cash culture, and there might be quite a few occasions where you won't be able to pay electronically, like when you want to get something at a bakery, a kiosk, small stores that don't accept card payments, or things like parking machines. You can either get some cash from the ATM in Germany, but be aware that there will probably be an ATM fee and a currency conversion fee if your bank account isn't in euros, or you can also ask your bank at home to get some euros to you before you leave. That might be the best option actually, because that way you'll also have some cash right when you arrive in case you need it. What you shouldn't do though is exchange money at the airport, because it'll be a lot more expensive.
Wait, really? It's interesting to know that cashless payment is not very big in Germany, but I hope they do that because I hate carrying cash. It just, I don't know, card is easier.
Now let's talk about what you need to know about driving in Germany, because there are a few differences that you should be aware of before you get behind the wheel. The first thing is that gas is a lot more expensive in Germany than it is in the US. It's about 3 times as expensive. So if you were going to rent a car and just drive around Germany or Europe, that's not going to be as cheap as you probably expected. In fact, it might be a lot cheaper to get around by bus or train. We have a pretty good train system all over Germany and over Europe too. And especially if you're just staying within one city in Germany, public transportation might be a more convenient and less stressful option for you too, because traffic can be a little crazy, the drivers can be aggressive, and parking in a German city is usually a nightmare. When you need to get gas, you should know that you pump first in Germany and then pay afterwards. And you don't usually pay at the pump, but you'll have to go inside afterwards to do so. The regular gas in Germany is called Super, but of course you can always look at what it says inside of the gas cap as to what kind you should put in the tank. Then of course there are different driving laws in Germany, so be sure to check those out before you get on the streets. 2 major things are that you can't turn right on red, and you always need to watch out for cyclists and pedestrians, especially when turning right. I found that that's not really something that people learn in driver's ed in the States, because in many American towns, people walking or riding their bike isn't really a thing. For everything else, like the street signs, speed limits, and driving on the highway, the Autobahn, you can check out my video on driving if you want to learn more.
I think I'd rather go around by the public transportation because I heard they're more convenient and easier. So yeah, I can save on gas. Drinking in public.
This one might be kind of shocking to Americans. In Germany, it's legal to drink alcohol in public, and Germans do that a lot too, especially in the summer. So don't be surprised by that, and who knows, maybe you're gonna try it too and get a cool experience.
Wait, so you can drink in the park?
Out of it if you can just sit by the river on a warm summer night with a 50-cent beer from the corner store. And yes, beer is pretty cheap in Germany, but it's still very, very good.
That's really interesting. I've never heard drinking in public is legal. So if you're just anywhere in Germany, it's fine, right? You don't get arrested by drinking. I mean, I don't have plan to drink, but it might be interested to see one. And I heard that you can drink anytime. And my last reaction, I actually reacted to that in Germany, it's normal to see German having a beer on their hand at 4 o'clock. That's really interesting.
Now, if you visit Germany as a tourist, you're probably going to spend a lot of time at restaurants. So here's a few things that you should know about that. So when you walk into a restaurant, you can usually just seat yourself and don't have to wait for someone to show you to a table. Then you won't get ice in your drinks unless you ask for it, but even then, it'll probably just be a couple of ice cubes. The sizes of drinks are also pretty small in comparison to the States, just like almost everything in Germany. And water is not free at German restaurants, so if you order water, you'll usually get bottled water, either still or sparkling, which Germans are huge fans of. Once you're done, you have to ask the waiter for the check. They won't bring it to you automatically, and you're probably gonna have to flag them down because they're not gonna check on you all the time. And then they'll usually have you pay right at the table, either with cash, or you can also pay with your card in most restaurants, but you'll have to let them know because they'll have to get the little device first. Now, when it comes to tipping, we tip around 10% in Germany, and the way it works is that you just tell the waiter directly what you want to round it up to. So if your check is 20 euros and you want to tip them 2 euros, you just tell them to make it 22 and you'll get the change for that. It works the same way with card payments too, so make sure to tell them the tip before you insert your card. Also, just a heads up, the waiters in Germany might seem kind of cold compared to the ones in the US. You'll have to flag them down if you need something, and they're probably not going to be as friendly, which has to do with the fact that they don't have to rely on tips as much, but also with the German customer service in general.
That one is also interesting because in the US, the waiters are super friendly, like really, really friendly. And then they always check on you. I guess they do that there so they can get bigger tip. So tip is not mandatory in Germany. And I was surprised with not having a free water in German restaurant. Well, I heard that it's not free in Italy, but I didn't know it's also in Germany. Okay, that's good to know. I'm just gonna buy some water at the convenience store then. It might be cheaper, right? Or is it the same price?
Please don't let it scare you off, but the customer service in Germany is pretty bad compared to the US, at least in my
Really?
opinion. I know that many Germans are going to disagree with me in the comments, but if you're used to American standards, it's very likely that some of the people working in German customer service will make you feel like you're bothering them or annoying them. If that
Oh,
happens,
no.
please don't think that it has anything to do with you being a tourist or not speaking German. It's nothing personal. They treat me like that too. Of course, there's also many great people working in customer service who are lovely to talk to, but unfortunately, that's not the standard in Germany.
Well, that's good to know because I would think that they are rude because I'm a tourist. But yeah, that's good. It's fair to everybody.
One of the most popular topics of complaints among tourists is that you have to pay to use the bathroom in Germany. Now, it's possible that that's going to be the case. Like at rest stops on the highway, you'll find these bathrooms with turnstiles, and at some public bathrooms, there will be a person sitting with a tipping plate, but that's not always the case,
Oh.
and at restaurants, it's usually free. But yes, sometimes you'll have to pay for using a public bathroom, so it's always best to carry some change on you, just in case.
That one is interesting. Good thing I'm good at holding my pee. So I'm just gonna pee at the hotel. Crazy.
Germans like rules and they like to follow the rules, and that includes stopping
I
at a
heard
red
that.
pedestrian light. So, no jaywalking in Germany. And by that I mean that you won't see a lot of Germans jaywalk, and many of them don't like it when others do it either. Which, by the way, applies to other rules too. You may even get reminded by strangers to follow the rules. Besides the
Oh.
whole no jaywalking thing, some of these rules are to stay right on escalators to let people pass on the left. And, very, very important, don't walk or stand in bike lanes.
Oh,
Next to the
good
sidewalk,
thing
there's
I know
usually a
this.
bike lane, and there are many, many cyclists in
Ah.
German cities. And if you block the bike lane, you may either cause an accident, or you'll probably have a person on their bike ring their bell at you, or even yell at you.
That one, the jaywalking one, is, I think people have common knowledge in that. I don't want to jaywalk in a different country because I don't want to get fined by it. But yeah, it's just not nice to like do it in different countries. I'm not doing it in the US, but you know, it's just sometimes when the traffic light number countdown is super far, like long, it's just so annoying to wait. So yeah.
In case you happen to turn on the TV or want to go see a movie in Germany, don't be surprised if your favorite American actor suddenly speaks German, because almost everything is dubbed in Germany. We do consume a lot of
Why?
American movies and shows in Germany, but Germans aren't big fans of subtitles. And even though more and more people do consume English media in their original version nowadays, the norm in Germany is the dubbed versions. Some movie theaters do show movies in the original versions too, though. You'll just have
That's
to look out
good.
for the little addition behind the title that says OV.
Oh, I hate dub. There's one time I was in Vietnam and I was gonna watch the How to Train Your Dragon, and then I thought it was English, so I just bought it, and then the person, like cashier, didn't tell me that it's actually dub. So I was like, I didn't like it. But yeah.
Many of you have probably heard the cliche that Germans are pretty reserved and rather cold, and there's actually a lot of truth to that. So before you go to Germany, you should definitely know that Germans don't usually talk to strangers a lot, and we aren't big on small talk, so don't expect to have some nice conversations with people at the store or something. It depends on who you interact with, of course, but at first sight, Germans can come off as unfriendly, especially when compared to Americans. It's nothing personal though, it's just a cultural difference. But if you ever have a concrete question, don't hesitate to approach a German and ask them, because Germans are usually very glad to help.
This one is actually makes sense because I am not a very fan of small talks. I hate small talks. I don't know why, but I just don't like it as much. I just feel like sometimes they don't wanna do it, but they're forced to do it. But yeah.
Now, how should I ask someone for advice if I don't speak German? Well, most Germans do know some English. They may have a thick accent and may not be able to have a full conversation, but they'll definitely be able to, give you directions or tell you the price of something.
That's good.
Many Germans also speak pretty good English, so those of you who come to Germany and do speak some German and want to use it, don't be thrown off if you speak to someone in German and they reply in English. It's a thing that many Germans do, and I know that it can come off as rude in a way, but they usually just want to make life easier for the two of you because they know that German is a difficult language, and if they think that their English is better than your German, they may think that they can make the conversation more efficient by switching to English. So please don't be offended by that. If you really, really want to practice your German, I'm sure you can just ask them to stick with German.
Oh. That one, I don't think I would be offended if they try to speak with me in English, because I think German language is super hard and I don't know if I would be able to speak or pronounce one. It's always nice when you're in a different country and people around know how to speak English. Like all the time. It's super hard. It's super hard when you go in a different country and then you try to talk to them and they'll be like, no English, no English. Something like that. It's super hard. So you just do sign language instead.
The last point on my list is mainly targeted at people who want to move to Germany. Now, when you move into a new place, be prepared that it might come entirely empty. And by that I mean that there won't even be blinds, curtains, or light bulbs in it, and oftentimes not even a kitchen. So the space where the kitchen is supposed to be will just have a bunch of cables and pipes stick out of the wall, and you'll be responsible for getting all of the appliances and cabinets. Also, leases are usually unlimited in Germany, unless it's like a sublease or something, but in the US I found that a lease usually has an end date, 1 year in a lot of cases, and then you can either renew it or end it. You won't have to do that in Germany. Also, when looking for a place, you should be aware that a bedroom can be really small in Germany, so you should always look at the size of the room or the apartment and not just the number of bedrooms, because a 3-bedroom apartment in Germany could be smaller than a 1-bedroom in the States. Also, bedrooms don't have closets in Germany, so you'll need a wardrobe or a dresser to put your clothes in, and there are many, many more differences regarding German and American houses, so if you're interested in that, you can just click here and check out my video about differences at home.
Is that gonna be in all apartment in Germany? Like every apartment won't have stuff inside when you rent it out, so you have to pay all of the things that you need? Or is there some apartment that is actually fully furnished, or is it really bare? I'm really curious, so please let me know.
So those were 13 things that
Okay, so I thought the video was a little bit longer, but that was it. It was a very informative video and I actually learned a lot from it. Now I have any idea what to do when I visit Germany one day. But yeah, if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe and comment down below what else should I react to. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.